So I'm not sure what kind of footage I'm going to have behind this video, because, of course, this is going to be about things that I think should be added to DayZ, or good ideas of new features for DayZ. So there's not going to be any pre-existing footage of what I'm about to tell you guys. But I'll try to find some distant examples, maybe from a TV show or somewhere else that sparked the idea for me. So yeah, 5 things that I think should be added to DayZ. Things that I think would make the game a lot more fun, a lot more interesting. And the reason I'm doing this video, another commentary, is because, one, I enjoy doing commentaries. I really like making this type of video, and the last video has kind of blown up for my channel at least. It did really well, so I'm gonna give it another shot. I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll get right into it. Alright, number 1. So this in my mind would make the game a lot more immersive, especially dealing with RP servers or RP based servers, and even in public. It's just like a why not type thing, make the game more realistic. It would be, when logging out, you're going to sleep, and when logging in, you're waking up. So this includes animation. So if someone else is watching you log out, you might lay down, roll over, close your eyes, and go to sleep. Stay there for a few seconds, and then you could disappear. And to play along with this, players could, go into houses to log out, go into the bedroom, or something like that. It would just make the game more realistic, more immersive, and in my mind, it's just better than straight disappearing. And on the client side, especially when logging in, you would be on the floor, you'd be opening your eyes, you'd be able to see it on your own screen, and it would be just like you're waking up from, a nap. So that's sort of a small one, but I think it is a good idea. It probably wouldn't take much work from the devs to implement this into DayZ, and so yeah, that's number 1. Number 2. So this idea has been discussed before, I know it has, but this is my own twist on it. I still think it's a very good idea, and this idea would be that in military bases, there is just one main entrance, so one gate entrance, and that's the only way to get in, except for the fence around the outside. And this fence could only be cut by wire cutters, or you'd have to climb the fence. So while climbing the fence, it could, encourage combat, you could be seen, probably a lot easier. People that were holding down the military base would probably be able to get a shot off on you if your entire squad had to climb the fence. Then again, if you were rolling alone, you'd probably make it in pretty safe. But it would allow for squads with enough cover to hold down a military base, watch the main entrance, and watch the fence, because it would take a little bit longer for people to sneak in on you. And in my mind, it would create more of a challenge in getting into a military base and getting the good weapons. So idea number 3 is something I've wanted for quite a while, since my early days of playing DayZ, and that is realistic looting. Now I know they're doing some things to make looting and specifically finding weapons more realistic, adding magazines and stuff, but I think it's all gone about in the wrong way by the developers. I think that when you find a weapon in a house, you should find ammo, it should have attachments on it, and there should be more than one weapon in that house if it hasn't been looted already by someone else. And this is for houses more up north, maybe above Northwest Airfield. I think that upon going into the right house, you should find like a gun rack or something like that, with guns set up to fire or to hunt. Because if you think about it, that's realistic. If this world was once a thriving society before the apocalypse, there wouldn't just be, a gun with no ammo and no attachments anywhere to be seen sitting on the floor in a house. Now in a store, this might be more realistic, maybe finding a gun with no attachments in a store, but I think that in houses, especially far north, you should find guns with attachments, with ammo, and maybe multiple guns. Along with in military bases, if it's unlooted, I say there should be a selection of guns, in maybe an armory with a gun rack or something of that sort, just to make it more realistic, because in all reality, you wouldn't be finding guns with no ammo scattered across the floor, most likely. And this is not saying that you should go into a house and find all the guns and find the best gun in the game right there, because that would be no fun. But maybe you walk into a house up north, and if you're lucky, you find a Winchester with a scope and 20 rounds, and a repeater with a little bit of ammo, and a Magnum with some ammo. Because maybe that guy before the apocalypse was, a gun owner. And you walk into the next house, and you find no guns. Or you walk into a store and find a stock weapon without any ammo or attachments, like it would be in real life. I think this is important, and I think it would improve DayZ a lot. Idea number 4. So this idea includes areas of overgrowth in the forest. At the current stage in DayZ, the forest is pretty much very easily navigated by players. The trees are kind of separated far apart, the bushes are separated far apart, there's no moss, no vines, you know, there's no rapid overgrowth in the forest. But I think this would really improve DayZ, make the forest look a lot better, and make the gameplay more fun, not to mention making the map seem larger because it would take longer to navigate some areas of the forest. Now if there were vines blocking your pathway, maybe causing for a new animation of stepping over bushes, navigating your way between vines, you know, maybe you'd only be able to go half speed through some areas of the forest. Now with a machete, maybe it could speed your character up a bit. This should put a new use for the machete into action as well. And once you blaze a trail through the forest, either by stepping on the bushes and overgrowth or cutting it down with a machete, your trail could be persistent. And so this could help players stalk you and create for some very cool interactions in DayZ. Maybe some interactions where, you know, running away isn't as easy and you're kind of stuck in a forest. Or maybe your foot gets stuck in a hole and if you don't have a knife, it's going to take a while to get out. As well as the danger of wild animals that could be lurking this area while you're kind of at a slower speed moving through the map. I think this would be a cool idea because it would add a new challenge, new aspect to the game, and a new form of interaction. And I'm no game developer, but I do think this might take a little bit of time for the devs to implement if they did decide to implement this. Seems like a pretty big idea. I don't know myself though. So my final idea, idea number 5, would be a mountain and ski lodge far north. Maybe near Severgrad right now, maybe near Novopetrovka. One of those areas up there that not many people hang around on public at least. This would give new life to an area up there that's kind of dead right now. And so yeah, a big mountain and a ski lodge to go with that mountain. Now this ski lodge would have a lot of supplies stocked up in it, a lot of food, a lot of weapons, and it could be set up like, maybe like before the time that you were alive, there were some other players here that used this lodge to protect themselves after the apocalypse struck, maybe right after the apocalypse struck. And then you've later found it. So it could have, you know, sleeping bags, could be set up like sort of a makeshift refuge camp for people of the apocalypse that was overrun later. So yeah, there could be lots of weapons here, lots of food. And then one of the main ideas would be this would be one of the only places you could find skis. So you could find a pair of skis and poles, or snowshoes and poles, and once the weather system is implemented, these items could be very valuable items. You could come to this ski lodge way far north, and then have an advantage navigating the map back near the Northwest Airfield, or even on the coast. If you had your snowshoes, you would be untraceable and have an advantage running away or tracking a squad down. If your squad was suited up with skis and snowshoes, and you know, better winter gear moving through the snow, the other squad would stand very little chance of surviving against you maybe in a firefight because they move so much slower and, you know, they're just not prepared. And the skis or snowshoes could easily go on your back and replace the slot of an axe. So that's it for the ideas. I'd really like to know what ideas you guys like and which ones you don't think should really be implemented. And one of the main reasons I did this video in the first place was to get ideas from you. So if you have any good ideas for DayZ, please leave a comment. I'll respond to you. So yeah, and also if you're new here, check out my channel for DayZ gameplay, other DayZ content. I think you'll enjoy it. Yeah, leave a like if you liked the video and subscribe for more DayZ content.